foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem, Kakadash. We give double honors to the apostles and elders that rule well. Peace, love, salutation to you brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and truth, as well as the few sisters that watch our videos. We are here once again to tell our people who they are, prophesying to the nations that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true Jews of the Bible, God's chosen people. We out here to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom known as America, which in the history, in the Bible, the Lord referred to this place as the daughter of Babylon, spiritually Sodom, spiritually Edom, spiritually Sodom, spiritually Egypt. We out here to prophesy the downfall of this so-called white man who is Esau Edom in the scriptures. We're going to just dive straight into it. Daniel chapter 7. We're going to prove that the America was prophesied in the scriptures and that it was prophesied to be destroyed. And at the time, Daniel didn't understand. None of the prophets understood when they saw this great vision of all the kingdoms, especially this last kingdom that we're living in, to be destroyed. And we be living in the time that it's going to be destroyed. Lord will it be under Joe Biden's, under his presidency.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven drove upon the great sea.
Right, four winds, the north, south, east, and the west. And they're going to talk about, winds is also a representation of destruction as well. This is the four winds on the four corners of the earth, just like the four angels are sitting on the four corners of the earth holding the four winds back, which is that destruction that's to come.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Right, four great beasts. And these four beasts go into the four different kingdoms that rose up on the earth. And we live in basically like the second installment of the fourth beast, the fourth kingdom.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
Right, the fourth was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings, which is going into the ancient Babylonian kingdom. And if you go into like the Babylonian symbol, their symbol was a representation of a lion. It was going into the Assyrian Babylonian kingdom, though, empire, which that was Daniel living in at that point in time. And also, the Lord allowed the Babylonians, which was ran by Nebuchadnezzar, he allowed them to conquer the whole earth, and they became a great nation. And they had, Nebuchadnezzar was a very powerful man at that time, upon the four corners of the earth. So he had a whole bunch of nations and kingdoms under his rulership. And he was a proud man, just like America, which is ran by Esau, is a proud man. America has all those different kingdoms mixed into one, basically. But it said he was given a harsh man. The Lord had to humble him. And his heart, so like.
And it's talking about a man right there.
Right.
And if I can say this, the sea, he said the winds blew up on the sea. The sea represents the people.
Right.
So then four different kingdoms was going to come out of all the nations that was going to reign on the earth together.
Now, right. And also, we know that it's been different people that came up into rulership that ruled on the earth, or different nations. But these were the four major kingdoms to rule on the earth, the four biggest or major kingdoms to rule on the earth before the Lord and Savior came back for his second return. So these were basically how you kept up with the times and let you know which kingdom was in rulership, what was going to take place on the earth.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side.
Right. It said like unto a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. This was the Medo-Persian Empire, and that at that time it hadn't came yet. But it raised up on itself up on one side because the Medes and the Persians, they was together but the Persians became a stronger empire. So they the ones that had basically the dominion over the whole nation. So that's why it said it raised itself up on one side, because it became the powerful between, it became the more dominant between the two. So the Persians, that's the Medo-Persian Empire.
Right. You got, and you going into the history on this. You know, this when the Babylonians came upon on the rule of earth, it was like on the mid 500s BC before the Lord came. Man. Then the Persians came after this. You know, so so what the brother going into is history, man. A lot of people don't know about this history because it wasn't taught to them. Even in the churches, this had to be broken down, man.
Right.
You know, this supposed to be broken down right here. You got it out.
And I can't remember which, I think it's in Daniel, which chapter it was, where Daniel prophesies to the king, and right after that same night, the next day, the Persians came and immediately slew him. He died the next day, but the Lord gave that vision to Daniel to prophesy to the king that he was going to die the next day.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Right, which those 3 ribs going into 3 nations, which is Babylon, Egypt, and Lydia. Those are 3 kingdoms or nations that the Persians took down.
After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Right, it said, like going into the Greek Empire, the Greek nation, which was ran by Alexander the Greek. And he's the one that, when they say like a leopard, because when you think of a leopard, when it goes after its prey, it goes after for a quick, instant kill. And that's how Alexander the Greek took over the nations. He swiftly took over the kingdom. All the nations, once they seen his power and seen his might, this is basically the beginning of Esau rulership as well. When they seen how fast and how strong his military might was, they all feared Alexander. They basically feared that whole empire, his whole reign and rulership. And I think it only took about 12 years for him to conquer basically all the lands before he got sick and died.
The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Right, and that 4 heads going to his 4 generals that he left in charge right before he died. The 4 generals that came up and ruled after him, which it goes into it in the book of First Maccabees. Talk about the different kings that put crowns on their head, and after them, evils multiplied on the earth as their sons put crowns on their heads. But this all going back to Genesis as well, when the Lord told Esau his blessing. He said, by thy sword thou shalt live. So this is the beginning of the Esau-Edom rulership.
I'm gonna get Genesis 25, then I'm gonna get you want to get the Genesis? Get Genesis 27. Get that first.
Somebody can have,
what else you want?
somebody wants to play.
See, 27, 38.
On the story, so let's.
This is Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38.
Hold on.
Yeah, I want to go. Still holding it down. Read that scripture.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Right. And that 4 wings also go, 4 wings, 4 heads, put 4 crowns on his head. Like I said, going to the generals. And what Esau always did was he learned the ways of the ancient kingdoms and the ancient empires. But Alexander did a lot. One of the ways he conquered the whole earth, especially with his military might, once he took down the nation, he learned their tactics, they war methods, their formations and different things, and he implemented it to his. So this is how his military might became so great. And it's also shown with the Romans as well. They did the same tactics basically when they came into power. They looked at all the different nations their formations, how they use their military, basically. And this is how he reigned on the earth. The same thing that America did. This is why America is known, military is known to be the world's greatest military on the earth. They basically study all the ancient kingdoms in their ways, and they incorporated it into their own.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was just stressed gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, he saw his brother came in from his husband. He also had made savory meat, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison.
Right. Isaac was blessing Jacob and Esau, and Jacob had already came in and received his blessing, which the birthright was already given to Jacob, but Esau sold it to Jacob. It was already set up from the beginning to go that way. So it ain't no Jacob stole the birthright, Jacob stole the blessing, like people always say. Jacob was already blessed to get he was already ordained to get the blessing, but to play it out on earth, Esau sold it to him.
That thy soul may bless thee. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? He said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who, where is he that had taken venison and bought his meat, and have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him? Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Here, I'll take you. Give me a new narrative now.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, and me also, O my father.
Right, so Esau is basically crying out for his blessing, crying out for the Lord, crying out for Isaac to bless him, give him something, give him something. And that's the same thing that Esau doing to this day, trying to create his heaven on earth, trying to create his own blessing, basically, trying to create his kingdom, but it's gonna fall. So Esau been doing this for generations and generations, wanting his blessing back and trying to figure out any type of way that he can destroy us off the face of the earth so he can try to get his blessing back, but it ain't gonna happen.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and had taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob, for he had supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing.
Right. See, that's how Esau was feeling. That's how Esau always been feeling. And this goes back into I seen a post on social media. It was a Jake girl. She don't seem to be in the truth. She said, how come you hate me because of the color of my skin, basically? But our people don't understand. It don't have anything to do with our skin. It go all the way back to the beginning in Genesis. Esau building up that hatred starting right here. This is when Esau really started to first hate Jacob. It go all the way back to it go all the way back further than that. But if you just want to look at Jacob and Esau, this is where it begins at. The so-called white versus the so-called black.
And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for service.
Right.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Right, and that's the kingdom of heaven that he's talking about. And we're going to reign over Esau for 1,000 years before he be wiped out from his midst.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou put one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right, because Esau got the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven right now. He ruled. He the one that controlled everything on the earth. The earth is given into his hands, which, like scripture say in Job, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. And they also go back into Revelation chapter 20. That's what I was talking about. Revelation chapter 20. But it said, by thy sword shalt thou live. So the only way that Esau is going to be able to have power on this earth is if he lived by his sword. Which, that's how Alexander, which is the third beast that Daniel saw, this is how he came into power. This is where the Greek Empire, this is where Esau, the so-called white man, ruled the first started. With Alexander the Greek. And they ruled through their military might. And this is how they've been ruling on the face of the earth this whole time, through their military might. But there was a point in time where they were supposed to be taken down, which was the the Dark Ages, what they call the Dark Ages. And that's when we ruled Europe and those different lands over there for the period of 1,000 years until they came back into rulership. That's why I said, and when thou break thy yoke off, when you go break his yoke off your neck. So this is the Renaissance period when they came back into rulership. You go into Revelation chapter 20.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Right. So this is where that hatred for Jacob versus Esau started.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Right.
And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee.
That's the Esau mindset this whole time, and that hatred just been growing and growing. And that's why Ezekiel said it was always a perpetual hate. In Ezekiel 37, 35.
This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Right. So on the higher level, that serpent go back into the spirit of Esau, the same spirit that Esau had this day. Let's go back all the way to the beginning, which that woman is supposed to be representation of us Israel.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all the cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Right, and cattle of the earth and beasts of the field, meaning all the other nations and all the other people. So Esau is going to be Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He is going to be cursed. He's going to be at the bottom, the basis of all men. And it said, upon thy belly shall I go and eat dust. So they're going to be at the bottom all their lives.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Right. It said I put enmity between thee, thy seed, and the woman's seed. We know women can't have seed. We know women don't have seed. So this is being symbolically the children of Israel and Esau Edom that came on the face of the earth. So that's where that enmity really started at. That hatred really started.
Right, because it said the serpent had a seed. Who is the serpent's seed? Right. That's the first thing you got to ask yourself. Then, like the brother said, a woman can't have a seed. So the woman was symbolic for the nation of Israel. So it's going all the way back into Genesis. It's supposed to be enmity, animosity between two seeds, two lineage of people, two nations of people. So where do you see that playing that out on the face of the earth, man? To this day, man.
Right.
Jacob and Esau, man. Because you go back and, like a lot of people say, the serpent is talking about the spiritual demon Satan. How about Shimon, how about Rocket? Where's the spiritual demon Satan seed that on earth, man? Who is the serpent seed? That's what you have to ask yourself, man. Right. And the elites of the so-called white, these so-called white people, the elites, the international banking family, they call themselves the serpent seed, and they call themselves the sons of Cain, man. Because they know their lineage, and they know where they history go back to. And they use that as by them knowing that, they use that as their power source to rule it on earth. They know what they trying to rule. So they took full advantage of it. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. More than two, and see, that's why we always tell our people, without the apocrypha, you'll never be able to understand Daniel the 7th chapter when they go into that third beast. Because you get into the book of Matthew, when John the Baptist came upon the scene and the Lord and Savior, the fourth beast was reigning upon the earth, so it skipped the beast. So where do you get the history of that third beast reigning on the face of the earth in the Apocrypha, man, which they took this out of the Bible in the 1800s?
Right.
And for our people who don't believe it, well, you just have to do some research, and maybe the Lord will open your mind up to get it. If not, it's on you. It ain't on us, man. That's why the Bible say, "Blessed is he that read it," and blessed is he that read it, and understand, and do all these things that is written in this book. And one of the things you're supposed to be doing is studying to show yourself approved. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. This going into where Alexander came into rulership because the Babylonians came to rule like 553 BC. Then they was taken down like 546 BC by the Medo-Persian Empire, man. And then Alexander and them came to reign around 334 BC. 300 years before the Lord came, manifest himself on the earth. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, and smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes.
Right, and that Darius is go back into like a title, like you would have president, you would have a king, basically. That's what they go back into.
Then he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Right, the first over Greece. So this is the kingdom of the Greeks.
So this is that third beast right here.
Right.
And made many wars and won many strongholds.
Right, so he made many wars and won many strongholds. So he's taking over the earth. This is why he was considered like a leper, because he winning many strongholds over the earth in a quick fashion. Just like a leper was killing straight in a quick fashion.
And slew the kings of the earth.
Right.
And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up.
Right, so the nation want to go up against him. What they mean, how powerful his nation was, his country was, military. Did nobody want to go up against him. This is why he said he was quiet. Did nobody want to face him.
He gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Right, so they were made to pay taxes to Alexander and to his nation. This is how strong he was.
And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
Right.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Right, this going to the four heads that he parted among too. And it went to the Ptolemy, Seleucids, Cassandra, and
Licinius.
The four kings that reigned in his stead.
Four generals. Four top generals. Because Alexander's son was too young at the time.
Right.
He came later on to rule, later on in the book of Maccabees. And his servants bear rule, everyone in his place. Right, because you had some Gideon, you had Ptolemy. He basically went and they divided up the lands over there in the east amongst themselves. You had Ptolemy who took Egypt. Then you had the land up with Ptolemy. Ptolemy was just a lineage. You had Ptolemy the first, second, third, and fourth. That was just a lineage coming through of their last name. Then you had the lineage of Seleucus. She reigned over Syria. Go get Antipater and Cassandra, they basically ruled the land of Macedonia and Greece. And you had Hold on. Then you had Macedonia and Greece under Antipater and Cassander. Then you had Thrace and Asia Minor under Licinius, Syria under Seleucus the First, the Holy Land, and Egypt under Ptolemy the First. You got it, right?
Still reading that stuff back.
Come on. So Alexander reigned 12 years and died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place.
Right.
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years, and evils were multiplied.
They said the evil multiplied on the earth. So the earth grew wicked, it grew more and more wicked. Just like the scripture said.
Back in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 7. After this, I saw the night vision in hell, and behold, a fourth beast. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 6. After this, I beheld, and lo another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Right.
The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Right, so this is the kingdom of the Greeks. Right after the Greeks reign came to Rome, it's still the same nation, the same people, it was still Esau ruling. It was just a different kingdom, different power structure coming up. And this fourth beast was going to be diverse from the rest. At first it started off as the Greco-Roman Empire.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Right. Read that again.
After this, I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
Right. Right. It said dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. This is the Roman Empire. Because no other nation on the face of the earth could go up against the Roman Empire. Just like the Greeks came and they had a strong military might. Like I said, this is Esau as well. It's just a different power structure. They ruled over the whole nation.
What happened was they merged like it's one empire. Because their whole plan was to still keep us up under them, and keep all the other nations up under them also. The whole plan was to keep us, keep us basically in subjection to them. But with words, go back into history, they had some kind of Greco-Roman Empire. Because even during the time when Yahushua was born, you had King Herod the Great. You had all the other Roman generals. Herod was from the lineage of Herod was from the Greeks. His father was Antipater, but he had came from the lineage. It was all Edomites, but he had came through the Greek Empire, man. They just had merged into one empire, of the Greco-Roman Empire, man. You got it. Just to add that too.
And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Right. And it said it had great iron teeth. And that's all just symbolic of their military might and their strength. Even that iron go back into a lot of the things that they did and used, especially how they like even with crucifixion they used those iron nails. It's just all symbolic of their kingdom.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Right, it was diverse from all the beasts that was before it. Why? Because Rome didn't just have no king. They had a power structure like a Senate. They had a Congress. The same thing that's going on today with America. They got a Senate and a Congress. Get that First Maccabees chapter 8. But this is the history of when they first came into rulership as well. When Rome was coming up as a power, like the brother said, they merged into the Greco-Roman Empire. But the Maccabees is when Alexander the Greek came into power, and it transitioned to when the Romans came up.
start at verse 9.
All right, this is 1 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 9. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them, slew many of them. And
Right,
carried
this what this if I can say this going into the Grecians, they was determined to destroy our people, man. You know, so this is what our people have to understand, man. It's the same people today. You know, which we might go into, which they was killing that. They was burning up all our Bibles. You know, they was hanging the children who was getting circumcised. They was hanging the women. They was throwing our children off of buildings, man, head first.
Just for keeping our laws.
Right, just for keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. To the point today, to where our people don't understand. It's been that fear have been embedded in them, to where they don't keep certain laws because they was getting murdered for it. Man.
Right.
You know, even during the time of slavery, when they came back in the power in the Renaissance period, it's a well-known fact how they was killing us for reading the Bible and stuff. Man. You know, that's why they didn't want us to read during slavery, because they didn't want us to come back into the knowledge and history of who we are and who they are.
Right. This is when the Hellenization period was starting as well. When our people was Hellenized, our people was starting to be considered Gentiles because we was keeping all the Greek customs, Roman customs. So when you get into the New, this is how you understand the New Testament. This is why our people was like that. This is why Paul was going to the Gentiles.
They carried away captives, their wives and their children, and spoiled them. They took possession of their land, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day.
Right, just like the Babylonians did.
It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all the enemies, and how that any time resist them.
They brought under dominion other kingdoms and nations that went against them, basically.
But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept enmity. And that they had conquered kingdoms both far and near, insomuch as all that heard of their names, were afraid of them.
Right, and so this is also when Rome, they was making alliances, because even the nation of Israel made an alliance with Rome as well. So they was making alliances and basically making all these other nations, they were still under them, but they was making them allies, basically. Just like today you got NATO, you got the EU, they got their allies. America is a part of NATO, but it got its allies. So this is the same structure that Rome was doing, but Rome was at the top of it. Rome was basically running everything, just like America was running everything. And now America's losing her power.
Also, that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they would. They displace. Finally,
Right.
they would. It said, also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they displace.
Right. Whom they would displace. So basically, they set up who they wanted to set up, and they brought down who they wanted to bring down, just like America do. They set up, they try to go and take over these other countries and set up their false governments. If the country don't get with the program, they're going to set up who they want to set up. It's the same process, the same thing. This is Rome all over again.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet, for all this, none of them wore a crown, or was clothed to be magnified thereby.
Right, because they didn't have a king. This is how they separated. This is how they work. They didn't have a set king. And whatever the king said, it goes. No matter what anybody feels or whatever else, however it goes. Whatever the king said it goes, they didn't run that thing. They had a Congress and the Senate. Different bills, different things had to get passed by them before actions came into play.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily,
Right.
consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered.
Right, well ordered. So this is how they ran. They had a house. They had the house in the city, just like you got today.
And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country.
Right, just like you got a president. This is basically the face of their country. They had one man who ruled over, but still everything had to go to the Congress and the Senate. Both things came fast, even when that one man, the president, was set up.
And that all were obedient to that one, and that there were neither envy nor emulation among them.
Right. That was it.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, for whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked. Verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Right, so this is how Rome came into power, because they took over all the other nations, in so much that the nations didn't even want to go up against them. But Rome had allies. Rome made allies with these other nations, and this is how their empire and their kingdom grew stronger and stronger.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Right, just going into that Senate.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, for whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Right, and that little horn is going to America, because basically America is nothing but Rome all over again. And those 3 horns that America plucked up to gain, before America became independent, it had 13, before it even got to 13 colonies, they had to get this independence from Spain, British, and France.
And behold, in his horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and his mouth speaking great things.
Right. Once America got its, when it got its independence, it formed the 13 colonies, which eventually it led into the United States of America, which the United States of America ain't nothing but a whole collection of cities in this one place. That's all it is. But get back to the point. It said you plug up those horns, and then it was given a great mouth. So it's speaking great things. All these, basically how America is ruled over the face, how America ruled over the face of the earth. This is that great mouth that it was
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
right. Read that one more time, sorry.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
Right. They ain't saying he beheld. Look at this. Where all these 4 people, that came from the earth until they were cast down. And the Ancient of Days was Yahweh outside. Seeing Yahweh, he said he had hair like wool. Because remember, we made in the image of the Lord. So we look just like the Lord, and we keep it his we set up to keep his ways, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. This is how the Lord operates. So we made in the image of the Lord. So he said he had a hair like wool, as white as snow. And the only people that got woolly hair is the so-called Negroes, which it can go into any of the 12 tribes, but the Negroes have the woolly hair, so-called Negroes.
You got people with woolly hair that's of the other nations, man.
Right.
That's 9 times out of 10 because they confuse the face and they learn to go back to the Israelites.
Right.
In the nation of Israel had different textures of hair in the tribe of Judah. Really mainly the kingdom of Judah had their woolly hair. Because you had the northern kingdom, they had like curly textures, straight hair, so they had different textures of hair. Like the brother was saying, it was the mainly the so-called Negroes, which is the southern kingdom, which the southern kingdom here, the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians that had that woolly texture hair.
Right.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
Right. Going into the chariots.
And fire was stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
Right.
The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
Right. The judgment was set and the books were open. The books is open now. Yahweh Shah broke the seals of the book when he died on the cross. When he died, for the sins of the Israelites. So now the seals of the book have been crossed, and now the books are open. This is how we're able to break these scriptures down to you and give you the understanding. This is how we understand it ourselves, through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And now the judgment is being set, because we out here prophesizing what's going to happen to Esau, this fourth beast. You know, the little horn that came out of the fourth beast. We prophesied that everything that's going to come on the face of the earth.
I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake.
Right. The great words which the horn spake. So-called Israelites, or the Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanic, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're not the Israelites. They ruling on the face of the earth. God was white. You know, all their policies, all the democracy that America comes with, homosexuality, transgenderism, these are the great words that was spoken by this nation, by America.
I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
Right. See, the beast was slain. So this is what we're seeing. We're seeing America fall to its knees until the Lord take it out with that final blow, which is going to be them thermonuclear missiles. And basically what Daniel chapter 7 is a timeline of everything that's going to happen on the earth before the Lord and Savior come back. That's basically what it is. You're seeing all the four major kingdoms that's going to happen. And then the end is going to be here in Israel, going to be reigning on the face of the earth forever.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
Right, this is going into the other nations. They said their dominion was taken away, but their lives were prolonged. Because America is going to be the only one that's completely destroyed. Now you're going to have the other nations, their land's going to be partially destroyed as well from all the war, which World War III is going to happen. And it's going to be the greatest war. It's going to be the biggest war on the face of the earth in history. Because you're going to have not only just the countries fighting, but you're going to have the Lord and Savior coming back. You're going to have the angels coming back. The angels going to be fighting as well. You're going to have 144,000 fighting men with spiritual powers out here. And it was 1/3, you know. It's going to be the greatest thing in history that ever happened on the face of the earth, and it's going to be remembered. But this is going to be a time like never before on the earth. This is why the Lord said this. It's for a reason. Read that again.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
Right.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Right, this is Yahweh Shai, the Son of Man, with the clouds of heaven, with the angels.
And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom.
Right. So this after World War III, after America is completely destroyed, after all these other nations are taken out of power, it said it was giving him a dominion in the kingdom, and he's gonna reign forever. And right under him is gonna be the Israelites, the 144,000 on down to the 1/3. It's gonna be Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, then the kings with 144,000 on down. And we the only ones gonna be reigning on the face of the earth, while the other nations gonna be in their subjection. They're gonna be enslaved. Because they gotta pay for all the evil that they brought upon the face of the earth. But we're gonna get that.
That all people, nations, and languages should serve him.
Right. All people, languages, and nations gonna serve him. So all the other nations are gonna be taken into slavery, and they're gonna have to serve him. What do you think the word serve means?
His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed.
Right. So just like Daniel saw the vision of the four beasts, and another beast came and overtook the previous kingdom before it, ain't no other kingdom gonna rise up and overtake the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So it's gonna reign forever and ever on the face of the earth. And the Israelites, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be reigning with him in righteousness.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me.
Right.
I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the thing. These great beasts which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Right, so basically the angel said these are four kingdoms that will rise and rule over the earth. But in the end of it, the saints of the Most High, which is the 144,000, they're going to rule on the face of the earth forever. And ain't nobody going to take them down. This is what he told Daniel. So Daniel had some questions. Daniel seeing the whole vision. He's seeing the Babylonian kingdom, the Persian, the Greeks, which he ain't seen that yet. Then he's seeing the Romans, and he's seeing America. He's seeing all these things, and he's seeing, everything taking place. So Daniel had some questions.
Then I would know the truth of the four beasts, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, breaking in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell.
Right, so Daniel wanted to understand the Roman Empire. When the Romans came up and then they fell, and then America came up in its stead. It took over the three countries that was ruling this land at the time and gained its independence. This is what Daniel wanted to see, wanted to understand.
Which Daniel didn't understand it at the time.
Right.
Even though it was broken down to him, he didn't understand.
Even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Seeing the pride of America. Daniel seeing America, seeing all these transgenders. Daniel seeing all this stuff. Seeing planes flying in the sky. Daniel had questions, like the brother said, he didn't understand it. But now he understands it.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them.
Right, so he's seeing slavery. He's seeing Esau taking all the Israelites into slavery. He being over here enslaved in the land of America. Then you saw that as well.
Right, 70 AD,
Right.
68 AD to 70 AD. Going into what you said, going into when the Greeks made war with us. You see, it started then. But then that's going to what Daniel saw when they lived home. When they came back into their power again.
Right.
You got it.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
Right, see, until the Ancient of Days came. So how about you never shot sent that spirit after 350 years of us being in subjection to Esau, and now judgment has been given to us. So this is what we out here doing. We out here judging the nation, letting them know their judgment is just to come. And then it says the kingdom was going to be given into the saints. So right after we get done with our ministry and Esau end finally come, we're going to be ruling the whole face of the earth. We're going to be ruling the whole earth under Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. This is the times that we living in. So like I said, Daniel 7 is basically a timeline of everything that's going to happen on the earth until Yahushua comes back.
Right, so because see, and this ain't talking about America, man. This is that kingdom that has to go down. Because you got Joe Biden rising up with Kamala Harris in the office. You know what I'm saying? It's like the serpent beguiling beguiling the Eve all over again, man. Right. It's like that whole thing is playing itself out again, man. Because Biden got this whole spirit now. Let's unify everybody, man. Everybody, let's come together in the spirit of unity. For all the injustice of the so-called Negroes, he's signing executive orders for all of them, man. But it's only to bait you in, man. It's playing with you mentally. It's playing on your mental, man. Right. And a lot of our people gonna fall right forward, man. Because what is another thing Biden said? Biden said these exact words. They gonna move heaven and earth to get as many people to take the vaccination as they can, man. Right. These exact words, man. He said they're gonna move heaven and earth for to implement the vaccination, man. What the hell is he talking about, man? Moving heaven and earth, man. Only Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai make statements like this, man.
Right, they go back into them great words.
Son, it's already started. The first place they started heavily is in Missouri, man. They say Kansas City, Missouri. If you know what Kansas City, Missouri, that's where a lot of people, a lot of Jakes at, man. You know, it's supposed to be one of the poorest places on the face of the earth, man. So, you know, because it's all starting with our people.
Yeah. In Seattle, they're going door to door. They got the National Guard going door to door to administer the vax. So, you know, that's beginning to start as well. I read that in the article. You know, they start with a certain class of people, but then they're gonna push it to all people. So, you know, it's coming down. You know, and then Dr. Fauci got on TV talking about, you know, every American is gonna have to take it, and then they talking about the percentage of people that won't take it, but they want to try to push it on at least 75 to 80% of the people to take it. You know, so.
Right now it's voluntarily, man. But they say by May it's gonna be mandatory, man. Huh?
He asked me to send that article. I told him I'll see if I can find it, because they take a lot of stuff off as you read.
So a lot of our people get caught up into this. Let's unify again, man. Who you unifying with, man? You know, unifying with these same people that made war with us, man. And the war haven't stopped, man. They can see their end coming. They can feel it, man. You know, so they finna try to get as many as us to go down with them as they can. And a lot of our people are, man. Because a lot of our people they gonna marvel after the beast, man. Yeah.
Verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Right, and it started with the ancient Roman Empire.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first.
So them 10 horns that also was a part of that ancient Roman Empire. Those were like the 10 weaker allies that they had, man. Just like today, you got NATO, but you had the Treaty of Rome started all over again in 1959, man. You know, because the NATO alliance, it first started off as the Treaty of Rome. And you can Google it, man. Then you know it's the Roman Empire being emerged all over again. And then when they started, they had the 10 nations which represented the 10 horns. And, you know, the 10 weaker, where the 10 nations that helped, it basically helped, that was allies with the beast, man. They didn't have the power as the 7 horns, but they were still part of the beast. That's why even when Trump came into power, when NATO had their meeting, he was over there saying that the weaker nations needed, you know, different nation allies, a NATO alliance. They need to start paying their dues that they was supposed, that they was on, you know, that they was in contract to pay, man. Going back into his look was more stouter than his fella. Then you went into that already. Okay, come on, you got it, bro.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Right, be diverse from the first. Like I said, going back into America, when they took Britain, France, and Spain, they got their independence from them, which the 13 colonies started right after that.
Right, the 13, right, because see, they still came from the same nation, but it's like, what was happening was, when you had them different countries sending different, you know, them so-called Spaniards like De Soto and Cortez, when they was coming over here and they was taking us down, and they conquered lands, you know, they were supposed to send Texas back to Europe. They started setting up shop over here like, forget them, man, we're finna set our own thing up, man. Right. Until it established, like the brother was going to, they established something called the 13 colonies. And they started to rebel against them lands, man. You know, that's why because you had the Spanish that sent the people first. You know, Spanish, that's where Christopher Columbus came from, you know, which was Cristobal Colon, but you had the fake Jews financing him when he went to the island of Hispaniola, man. Then you had them start to send De Soto and Cortez to like Mexico and different lands over here, man. You know, and eventually, as more they started to send more and more of they being over here, they started to rebel against them, man. They were like, they crossed the seas, man. We setting up shop over here, and we finna establish our own thing, man. And that's when America got established, you know, and that's when they going into their independence of 1776, which they say was the 4th of July.
Right.
But it really was May 1st, 1776, man, the Illuminati Day. And that's when America established themselves, you know, like going to their independence, man. That's when that little horn came into power, which subdued them other 3 horns, man. You got it, bro. We subdued them other 3 kingdoms, which was the British, the French, and the Spanish. Even though they came from them, they fought, they rebelled against them, man. You got it, huh?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Right. He said you should speak great words against the Most High. Now he's setting up, going back into like we were talking about with transgenderism, the whole homosexuality, because this is speaking against the words that Yahweh, this is speaking against the ways that Yahweh Shem Yahushua already set up on the face of the earth. Now a man can be a woman can be a man, pedophilia. It's just going into the different examples of how to speak words. Wear out the things. You put the thing, you go into that word wear out, it means oppressed. Because our people are continually oppressed up here. That's why we continually say we still enslaved. We still under the same people that took our people into captivity. You know, Esau is still ruling over us. And the kingdom of heaven is not here yet. This earth is not ruled by righteousness, so we still oppressed. And like the scriptures say, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. But when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. The wicked is still ruling. And it says to think to change times and laws. Now they don't even go by the moon. Which this is how you're supposed to keep up with like the holy days, the Sabbaths and everything. You're supposed to go by the moon. You know? You go by the moon, you know the seasons. You know, now they keep up with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we went day 1, day 2, day 3. This is how we did. So they changed the times and the laws.
Right, that all goes back to ancient Rome.
Right.
Even with the months of the year, man. You know, January go back to one of their gods, Janus, man. Then you had July go back to Julius Caesar. Then you had always go back to the Augustus Caesar, man. Going back into the ancient Roman Empire, man.
Right.
You know, then all the planets named after Roman gods, man. Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Saturn. You know, all this goes back to ancient Rome, man. What you say, Al?
I said Neptune.
Come.
Also, too, you know, the Bible refers to this place, going back to a statement he made earlier, the Bible refers to this place as spiritual Sodom. You know, Obama opened the door for the sodomy to be legally, the LBG and all of that to be legal. But Biden has kicked the door wide open. You know, I read an article that he's making it legal where boys and girls can share the same bathrooms, and you know, making it just you know, more wicked than it is already.
I had seen the clip. I think Tara sent it, but I seen the clip. It said what Biden was saying, if a little boy or if a child, they were like an 8-year-old child wanted to be a transgender or something. Biden, this came out his mouth. He said he gonna make it to where won't nobody ever look at him in any type of way or make it look like you know, something wrong with him. He said, you know, that was his plan. It was like a little 30-second clip.
And now he's making it to where if one of these LBG or lesbian or gay approach you and try to come on to you, and you say something or speak against them, then you can be criminally charged for rejecting them. You know, which all that is wicked. You know, in the Most High, he already destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah as a sign. So, you know, if that to Sodom and Gomorrah, you know what you're going to do in this place. It's going to be destroyed even worse. You know, and now you got women that look like men, you can't even tell. And then in California, you got where they done changed, they got the law passed or passing the law to where birth certificates, they can go and change their birth certificate from their original sex. So they can have a female, you know, if they were a male, they can say a female. And you would never know, you know. So now it's just too wicked.
I got that word where it said he should wear out the he should wear out the saints of the Most High. The Hebrew word is balah, which means to harass constantly, man.
Harass constantly. This is what he's been doing to our people, oppressing us constantly. Basically, killing our people, We're at the bottom of our society. He's still basically he indoctrinating our people. You know, he's poisoning our people, both minds and bodies.
And that's the spirit too, guys. It said used in a mental sense to wear out. You know, so it said used in a mental sense, going back to that indoctrination.
Right.
So this is what America did. America wore out the saints of the Most High, man. You know, it did like going to what the brother said, thought to change times and laws, change the laws, change the times, man. And then we look at that word laws, it goes into the laws of the Most High, man. And they done that. And now people going right along with it.
Like they say, create a male and female. Now they got on there, do not specify or other or something like that on there.
That's another thing important to administrate. They finna make in the earth too, to where it's not gonna be male or female no more. It's just gonna be you a human being. You know, it's finna be. They finna X in the gender out.
Just to give an example, I was signing up for something, and it said, you know, gender basically, and you know, it had male, female. Then it said, you know, do not specify, and then it had the other, like the brother said. So I clicked on the other just to see what it say, and then it said, what are you? And you can put male or female, and then what do you classify as? And then you can put male or female.
I remember it was another brother sent something one day. He had like 20 different things on there you put on there.
Right, man. So this why this place is known as Babel, man, the land of confusion, man. That's why I say the city of confusion is broken down, man. So, you know, this place is being broken down piece by piece, man.
Right.
You know, it's just gonna be broken down, man, until you get to the head and chop the head off, man.
And think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time, and times and dividing of time.
Right, which that time, dividing the time, going to that 350 years. Our people was in captivity under Esau, and this word wasn't fruitful at the time. You know, we was in slavery, and this truth that we're speaking now wasn't fruitful. All the way up into the late 60s, early 70s.
But the judge,
Yeah, the precept.
I thought I did. It was like you were talking about the change of times. I had the 7 right next to it.
What was the precept for it?
Yeah, it was. I had one and got one before, but I forgot what but it was just the change of the time, though. Like you say, we go by the moon, but now we gotta try to keep it like at the same time everybody can keep it like on Saturday. And it say like the not do no work on the Sabbath day, but they have us working Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. Some brothers work 7 days a week. Like you say, you ain't supposed to do no work, but they still have people buying and selling on the Sabbath and stuff like that. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah thy power.
Right, this is the commandment of the Lord, and this is what they changed. And this go all the way back to like the brother was saying during the time of the Greeks. They was killing our women, hanging the babies by their necks, you know, killing the men, you know, all harassing our people, wearing out the saints. This go back all the way during the time of the Greeks, because you know, changing the time and the law. Because when our people stopped keeping it, we forgot it. We stopped keeping it willingly then. But this is the commandment of the Lord.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy servant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
What?
For in 6 days Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. before Yahweh Shah, that's the Sabbath day and hallowed.
Right. And in the kingdom, we gonna still keep the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And all the other nations that's under us, that's in captivity and slavery under us, they not gonna work on that day either. They gonna have to keep it just as well as we gonna have to keep it. They gonna be looking forward to the Sabbath day.
I got a precept. Go ahead.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh Shah, thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And I just thought about like they have all these stuff going on with like them swingers and stuff and all the other stuff, messing around with folks' wives.
And then they said thou shalt not kill, meaning going into murder. But the Lord is, they said he's a Lord of armies. He a man of war. So killing is a part of war. But murder is a different thing from killing somebody.
And like bearing false witness, what's the like with the like professional athletes, their biggest thing is they gotta stay away from like the white women, because they'll mess around, somebody catch them together, they say they done raped them, now they spending 20 years in jail for something they ain't even do. What's up?
And that's because the elite want to get some hold over their head, you know. So if at a later time they won't do what they ask them to do, they bring those charges up.
Now you can talk about it.
That's why something come up on people years after it happened, like Bill Cosby.
Hey, hey, it didn't happen now, bro. They had the inauguration day. Biden family in there. We got Biden and Kamala Harris in there. It's finna be good now. No, she look like it, man.
Look at that Adam Apple.
Hey, huh? You said who? It's finna be good. Biden say he finna unite everybody. Everybody finna unite. He go, he huh? Hey. Say by peace they should destroy many, you know. So get this precept right here, cause this the spirit that Biden in right here, going to what the brother just read. It should think to change times and laws, man. And they done it ever since they came into power with the Greeks in the Romans. Then they re-emerged back into power during the Renaissance period. They thought to change times and laws, man. And we're gonna go to show you it started with the Greeks. This is First Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 41. It said, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all shall be one people.
Right.
Hey, that's the philosophy of America, that all should be one people.
One nation.
That's what Vice saying right there. It ain't no such thing as color no more. We all one people, man. Ain't no such thing as a blue and red state. You know, this is the philosophy of Biden right here, man. Right. But we know that ain't gonna happen, man. So like you were saying, if our people had any sense, that's the best damn say. Okay, Biden, he just signed the executive order talking about justice. Now he signed the executive order, but it's gonna be justice for our people from now on. Like you said, okay, if that's the case, federal law, this federal law that we supposed to get 40 acres in the mirror. That's supposed to be the first thing Vice President Kamala Harris supposed to be pushing for. If she for our people.
Right.
You know, but our people gonna make up excuse. Oh, she can't do that. Okay then. So what are y'all so hyped up about them for, man? You know, what are you winning in record-breaking numbers of voting them for? If they can't do that, man. This First Maccabees 1 and 41 again. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone shall leave his laws. And, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Right. So leave his laws, leave the ways that you was taught, and go into the ways of America. So now ain't gonna be no we just like you said, you unite everybody. So now it ain't no more male and female, boy and girl. It's gonna be just one gender. He, she, they, him. Not he, she, but it's gonna be they, them, us. That's gonna be it.
They gonna just have it to where you say how you doing and they doing or something.
Going back to that 40 acres and a mule, they get that 40 acres and a mule if they give them that $1,200 still. That's gonna be their replacement of the 40 acres and a mule. Because Our people is just as happy with that.
And this verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Right, so a lot of our people conform to the ways, just like they gonna conform to the ways that Joe Biden coming with. They conform to all this transgenderism, this homosexuality, all of this. They okay with it, but this ain't how the Lord told us to be.
Right. And these people on the side, this the word that God so loved right here, that he gave his only begotten son. This the people who the Lord come back to say, nobody else right here. The Lord finna destroy America. Just like, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Just like he's destroying Sodom and Gomorrah for all the homosexuality and lesbianism, you know, and all that. You know, the Lord finna destroy this place, man.
Start laughing with
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
Right, so he specifically sent it to the Israelites that they should follow the laws of the land.
The strange laws of the land.
The
The Bible never said obey the law of the land, man. That's not in here, man. Daniel didn't obey the law of the land, man. Daniel, Epset, Meshach, and the Abednego didn't obey the laws of the land. If the laws of the land right, you obey them, man. But when it start going against the Bible, man, then you don't obey them, man.
Right. And the Lord bless Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for their faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because even when they disobeyed the laws, they still had to go through tribulation. But the Lord allowed them to be delivered out of it.
Just like our people now, man. Many of the Israelites, they gonna consent to this new philosophy that Joe Biden coming with, man. Everybody unified, man.
Right.
You know, we all one people. Y'all finna consent to this, man. I said the same thing about Kamala Harris. She look like a damn man, man. Yeah. She don't got no children. No children they adopted. So, you know, which we saying she no man, but she do look like, I just seen the other day, like she look like a damn man. And what black woman that age that you know that don't have children? At the age she at. Right. Just to be real, man. Any black woman at her age that ain't had children, go. If you do the research, they done had a couple of abortions, man. Just being real, man. You know, which is all under the consent of the so-called white man, man. Because we didn't have abortion clinics during our time, man. You gonna have to have that child. Man. It wasn't no choice, man.
No matter the circumstance.
Right, you didn't have a choice of whether you gonna have that child or not, man. It was a blessing for you to have children anyway.
Right, and it's laws on it for different circumstances that might happen. That might happen to a woman, like if she get raped or something. It's laws on that. The Lord already had it covered. But like the brother
talking about back in her early time, but she looked like she was born back in the late
No, I'm just
60s.
talking about period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about period.
We just saying we ain't had no abortion clinics, period.
You got somebody with that had abortion, you might watch the video, you ain't know no better, man. You repent from that, you know better now. So you know you can't be, But that's why that's why America has to be destroyed, man. Because if America wasn't set up, and because abortion clinics were set up for to destroy our people, man, it was Planned Parenthood, man.
Right.
That was part of Esau hating Jacob, and he wanted to he had the mind frame of killing his brother ever since, man. So in whatever form it took place, he done it, man. Whether it was abortions, whether it was the drugs, however it was, whether it was physically with the lynchings and the hangings, the plot was for him to kill his brother Jacob, man.
Right.
To go to the woman and the man. The seed, basically. Verses 44 again. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. How did that go into the day, man? When they sent forth legislation, man, all the executive order, they goes out to the different cities, man.
Right.
Just like it's starting now with their whole plan is to get as many as our people to take the vaccination, man. Why are they starting with our people, man? We already know. They gave us diseases and vaccination. We already know. A lot of our kids got the ADHD from their vaccination, man. So why we trusting them now with a vax, man? You know?
See what they did to the Native Americans as well. Giving them syphilis.
They gave and our people, man. The Tuskegee experiment, man.
Smallpox.
Right. Verse 45. And forbid drink offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festivals and feast days.
Right. Now America got us worshiping they false idols, they false gods, pagan holidays. This all going back into the same thing.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
I ain't think it was supposed to rain today. It wasn't supposed to rain today.
You want me to stand over there?
You want to? You want to stand out?
Big umbrella.
You ain't getting on it.
First Maccabees 1:45 again. And forbid drink offerings and sacrifice, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Right. And they did all this just to keep us from being in one with Yahweh Shah. They know as long as we continue to go off and sin against the Lord, He's going to be against us.
And set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
Right.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Right, so they're doing all this just to keep us down under them, ultimately to destroy us.
To the end that they may forget the law and change all the ordinance.
Right, forget the law and change all the ordinance. And that's what happened. Because we did forget our laws, statutes, and commandments. Which, when it came into to our people becoming Gentiles in the New Testament, and Gentiles in this day and age.
This is what's coming again, man. This is what's coming. Because eventually, that vax is going to be mandatory, man.
Right.
Whoever don't take it, hey, you're going to have to deal with the circumstances that come with it, man.
That's right.
I already talked about right now they got it to where the job can't fire you or not hire you because you didn't take it. They did like the brother just said, it's going to be give relinquish that and give the jobs, you know, the authority to fire you or not fire you because of the vaccination. They already, Biden already said if you can't you know, coming into the country, if you hadn't been vaccinated in another country, you can't fly in. If you do, you got to quarantine, you know. So he's pushing those laws now, like the brother said, with these executive orders.
And whosoever, verse 50, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he says should die.
Right, so just like the brother said, like the brother just said, if you don't consent to taking that back, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences. Just like if you ain't consent to the laws back then, you die. You know, some of our people, the righteous of our people, they chose to die and not take themselves to sin rather than live in sin, basically.
Because see, you can tell they using all this stuff now. It's a psycho operation they running, man. A psychological operation. See how many people they can get to consider do what they want to do. They start with the man, dad's coming with the backs, but eventually it's leading up to that chip, man, to the mark of the beast, man. Right? So they preparing your minds for the already, like, be willing to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? Be willing to take that shot, man. You know, which that shot gonna turn into that chip, man. Right. In the verse 51, verse 24, in the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanded the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
Right, so they had overseers, basically people enforcing under the king to make sure all the people obey the king's rulership. So it's gonna be the same way in today's time. They're gonna be using your mayor. They're going to be using official officers. They're going to even use the National Guard.
Just like they're using right now, your different celebrities. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'm taking the bench. You know what I'm saying? All these different celebrities pushing over there, I'm taking the bench, man. You know, getting into the heads of the people, man. I heard Paul Pierce, they was on inside whichever sports broadcast he on. They was talking about it. It's all I take. I be the example. I be the one to take it. Right, man. So they're going to set overseers over the people. And it's going to go city by city, just like they already started. Kansas City, Missouri was the first city of these our people. They call it like it's one of the most underprivileged cities in America. So they want to make sure they get it first, man. Shit, wait, make sure they get the shot. Make sure they get aid. Make sure they get real aid, man. Damn a vax, man. Them people need money. Our people need help, man. Right. Need houses, man. Not no damn vaccination, man. But it is what it is, man. But like you said, he commanded the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. And what's that sacrifice today, man? That vax, man. Which is gonna lead up to the mark of the beast, man. This is what all this is leading up to, man. Right. Is you willing to take that chip, man? Like I said, no man ain't gonna be able to buy and sell unless they take the mark of the beast, man. So this is what all this is leading up to, man. And people really thought Biden, his inauguration and him getting in there is gonna change things, man. It's gonna bring the destruction to this place, man. This is what this is all about. You know? What do you think about Biden?
Sorry?
What do you think about Joe Biden?
Oh, he's just an individual. Just another guy.
Just a puppet, right?
Right. All of them are.
Right.
Right.
So,
you guys, so are you guys Christians?
Yeah, we the true Christians. The word Christians go back to the anointed ones. Everybody on this side, these the only people. The people on the side, these are the only people that can be Christians. And not like the world taught us. Not like, see, that's what we going into now. Go get that out back in Daniel, where you should think to change times and laws. Right. So, where are you from? You from America or you from?
Yeah, from the U.S. Yeah.
From the U.S. Where do your father lineage go back to? From Europe. What part of Europe though? Cause you know
part of Ireland, part of the
I kind of feel like I kind of felt the Ireland. Then you go ahead. Because see, what people don't understand, the majority of the Irish came from the Israelites. The majority of the Irish was Israelites. They used to call the Irish the niggas of Europe.
I think we all came from Adam and Eve.
We did, but it was a chosen land that came from Adam and Eve. You know, so it was a chosen lineage because you had Cain came from Adam, which Cain took on the seed of the wicked one. So the Lord, and then what did the Lord tell Cain? My face should be hid from you from all the days of your life. But so that's why Cain hated Abel. But then when Cain killed Abel and Seth came back in his stead, then it was like then men started calling on the name of the Lord again through Seth. You know, but it was like Seth came back. So even though we all came from Adam, it was a chosen lineage who the Lord chose that came from Adam, which is these people on the sand. Which get that in first. Get that in second Ezra 6 and 54.
But God is no respecter of persons.
We gonna see. We finna see. We go ahead and get that.
All right, this is Daniel 7.
But see, that's the philosophy America taught when they came back during the Renaissance period. Before that, everybody knew the truth. The Lord is a respecter of person. The Lord chose these people right here to be above all the nations on the face of the earth. Which, matter of fact, get
Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated.
we're gonna get Deuteronomy 7 too. We get that. Go ahead.
All right, this is Daniel 7:23.
Because see, what people don't realize, when America came to power and declared her independence, it's all in the Bible. It was Bible prophecy. This is the Roman Empire. This is the extension of the Roman Empire all over again. It's like when you had to ride on Capitol Hill. Do you know where that name Capitol Hill come from? Don't you know they go back to ancient Rome, which it was Capitol Land Hill, and it's a place built just like Capitol Hill. Right. So this is the Roman Empire all over again. And I know you know what the Roman Empire, what they was all about. And they was on the ancient Rome when they was persecuting the Israelites. They crucified the Lord. So this is Rome all over again. You know, this is prophesied in Daniel the 7th chapter that we're going into, and America is about to be destroyed. You know? The Lord and Savior gonna come back and actually put this place to destroy this place. But first, the judgment have to be read first. His saints, which are the Israelites, we have to come back up and do what we're doing right now. We have to come back and warn, and warn our people and let everybody know their judgment that was gonna happen. Go ahead, bro. Matter of fact, get the part to where it say, you read Daniel 7 and 11, then skip to this.
All right, this is Daniel 7, verse 11. I beheld, then because of the voice of the great words, which...
That ain't Daniel 7 and 11. I beheld to the throne to cast down. That was 7 and 2.
This is Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
So that's what Daniel saw. Daniel said he beheld until the thrones was cast down, going into the kingdoms. Go ahead.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
And the Ancient of Days did sit. Wait, you got your mask on? Just keep your mask on. Go ahead. A mask ain't gonna save you.
Ancient of Days did sit.
So who is the Ancient of Days? Talking about the Heavenly Father. So Daniel beheld until the throne was cast down. What throne? Talking about the kingdoms of this world. Because the Lord and Savior is going to come back, He's going to rule the kingdoms of this world.
Whose garment was white as snow.
Right.
And the hair of his head like pure wool.
See, the hair of his head like pure wool. What race of people on earth got woolly hair? Our people. So this describing the Heavenly Father how He looks. See, this one of the world's best kept secrets. That we the real Jews. We the true Israelites, according to the Bible. Not those guys in the land of Israel who plotted World War I and World War II so that they can fake like they was the real Jews and take their land. Go ahead. Yeah, we was born it. We actually, that's why we was born for Israel. Go ahead. Let me ask you something. So let me say this. The people in the land of Israel, they just went to Israel in 48. They the 1948ers. They weren't in the land of Israel before then. That's when they declared that but see, there was a whole plan. Let me going back in the history. Like, do you know about the Balfour Declaration? The Balfour Declaration. Exactly. See, you got to go back in the history, going back into the early 1900s. This is why World War I was all started. Now you had the Lord Rothschild at the time, which he was part of the British Parliament, which he declared some kind of, it was the Balfour Declaration, basically, where what happened to the
Okay, but Ben, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, see, let me.
I gotta go get something.
Okay, you can go ahead, but get this description. But did you know? Can you accept this though? Do you believe in the Heavenly Father?
Absolutely.
You believe in the Bible?
1,000%.
Okay, so this describing how he looked right here. Get that in 10 and 5 too. Pure wool. His hair, it says his hair was like pure wool. So he had woolly hair. What race of people on earth got woolly hair? These people right here, the so-called Negroes. So this how we direct the sinners of the Heavenly Father. Man. We actually in his image. Right, go ahead, but when America came up,
I think we are all.
No, we not. We're gonna see what the Bible. Let's see what the Bible say about this.
But God's no respecter of persons.
We're gonna see what the Bible say about it. Then. Let's see if the Bible say that. Now, hey, look.
I already know what he says on God. I know.
Let's see what the Bible say about this.
God will do for you, will do it for me.
Okay.
What he did for Moses, he will do for everybody.
We're gonna see this.
Do you know? I'm gonna give you.
Get second air to 6 or 54.
I'm gonna give you a true testimony.
Stand to the side. I was cold. But let me say this for you. Let me do this for you. Say that, because we don't judge according to color.
No.
Now, I'm just saying. I know, but I'm saying, but we judge according to the nationality, because the Bible. Do you say the Lord is not a respecter of person? What you got second air to 6? So get the post, get there real. We're gonna see what the Bible say about this. Go ahead, I'll give you.
This is second Ezra 6 and 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
So like you said, of Adam, of him come we all. Go ahead.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Who is the people who the Lord chose? The Israelites. Go ahead.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord.
Right.
Because thou made the world for our sake.
So he made the world for the Israelites' sake.
As for the other people.
As for the other people,
which also come of Adam.
Which also come from Adam.
Thou hast said, they said that they are nothing.
They are nothing. So so the other people who came from Adam that he didn't choose, the Lord said they nothing to him. Go ahead.
But be unto like spittle.
They like it to spittle. That's how the other people are to the Lord if they not Israelites. Go ahead.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that has fallen from a vessel.
Right, so that's how you liken the abundance of them as a drop that's falling from a vessel. Deuteronomy 7:6 real quick. See, so that's why we say when America came in the power during the Renaissance period, these are the first people they took down. The Northern Kingdom, which was the so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It started with Christopher Columbus landing on the island Hispaniola. Then you had Cortez and De Soto, and all them started to come to the North Americas and South and Central America, take these people down. But what did they have with them? They had what you call missionaries with them, and they started to indoctrinate these people. And they started to strip them of their history and their culture, because when Columbus even came, Columbus had Hebrew interpreters with him. Why? Because he knew the people he was coming to get was the Israelites that was fleeing the persecution. Right. So this why when you go into history, history in America always starts at the Renaissance period. They never take you into the history before the Renaissance period, the Dark Ages. Why were the Dark Ages called the Dark Ages? Because our people was ruling Europe at that time. From 323 AD all the way up into the 1300s, we was ruling Europe. Right.
And none of that was right.
None of what was right.
Like no one ruling everybody.
What you mean?
I don't think, I personally don't think that no person is any better than me.
We get that, Deuteronomy 7:6.
Deuteronomy
We'll see that's what America taught us. America taught us it's about how we think and how we feel. But that's why the Bible say his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. So until our thoughts become his thoughts and our ways, his ways, we learn how he think and we learn how he operate, then we wrong. So we can't go by our own opinion, but that's what America taught us. That's why so much confusion in America. That's why this place is known as Babylon the Great in the Bible. Babylon goes back into the Hebrew word for ball, which means confusion. This place is a great ball of confusion, man. Everybody add their opinion. But if you want to set the record straight, however, the Creator said laws, statutes, and commands. So let's see what His way say. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. And thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So get hold Deuteronomy 32. It says, thou art a holy people unto thy God. He talking to the Israelites.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord chose us to be a special people unto Himself. That's why He gave us the law, statutes, and commands. That's what made us holy. That's what made us self. Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So He chose these people to be above all people on the face of the earth. Not to be equal, not to be the same, to be above. And see, the elites, they run everything, the international bankers, the elite banking families, the Rothschilds, the Bowers, the Rockefellers, they know that. They know who their lineage go back to. But the everyday Americans don't know who their lineage go back to. The everyday white man don't know his actual lineage goes back into the Edomites according to the Bible. Our people don't know their lineage go back to the Israelites. Matter of fact, where you get that out? Because the people in the land of Israel get Revelation 2 and get Revelation 2 and 9 right there. You thought you believed the Bible.
No, I did, but
So what about this when the Lord said He chose you to be above all nations,
I'm going to ask
above all people? He gave it to you.
I don't know.
His word, you please His word. Read it again.
But thou art a
But,
holy
you know,
people
like
unto the
when
Lord thy God.
I was growing up, my mom and my dad always told me to respect everybody.
Of course. You know why you respect everybody? You know why we respect everybody? Because you could be an Israelite. We don't know. Because like I was telling you, the majority of the Irish come from the Israelites. Because our people rule Irish.
I do know I'm going to heaven, and that's what I know. Right. So I appreciate you guys.
So
Thank
let
you.
me say this though. The Lord say you gotta worship Him in spirit and truth.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you accept this? Can you accept the Lord?
I can accept the whole if I studied that, okay, there's more than just, you can't like piecemeal.
We ain't piecemealing, but
Okay.
we just going
All right.
so we can get when the Bible gives a description of the Lord, can you accept He a dark skinned man with woolly hair?
Absolutely, it doesn't matter to me. Color has nothing to do with it.
Huh?
Color has nothing to do
Well,
with
He
it.
said if you deny that He came in the flesh, that's the spirit of the Antichrist. So if you worship Him in spirit and truth, if the Bible, it's just like you, the color you are right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, when your kid, if you got grandkids,
Yeah, I do.
if you pass away, let me say this. If your grandkids have kids
Uh-huh.
and you pass away, for your grandkids' kids get here, and then your grandkids show their kids a picture of you, would you want them to show a picture of you dark as this, brother, or you want them to show the picture of how you really look? Answer the question.
Okay.
Answer the question.
My grandkids are darker than you. How about that?
They are.
Absolutely.
Well, they must got an Israelite father.
They must have.
Okay.
I,
But that ain't the question I asked.
yeah.
I asked the question this the point I'm trying to make is for truth's sake. You know, if I look like I'm looking at, and my grandkids have kids, I want them to show that I want they father to show the kids just this how your granddad look. I won't want them to show a fake image of him and saying, well, how he looked didn't matter. I want to show the direct image of how he looked, right? But for truth's sake, this your granddad. I won't want to be looking like something totally different, right? Looking like Biden, and I ain't looking nothing like Biden. Just for the example, I'm just making an example, you know, right? So for truth's sake,
We'll see you guys.
so it do matter.
Like you were saying, you can't just use medicine, you say these other companies line up online, here's little daily, so you gotta put up again.
Right.
Don't get a white son.
Huh?
He's easy going to get a white son.
Go ahead, bro.
I think it's got like how I feel like what I feel, he might have some Israelite in it.
I don't know, that Edomite spirit rose up in his head.
What's the name of his name? He's something with it.
Now you know that piece of it, that's an upside down crucifixion. You know what that is. Go ahead, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6 again. But thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Right, so the Lord chose us to be above all people on the face of the earth. And whoever can't fathom that, whoever can't give in that rulership mentality, you're going to have to die to get in that rulership mentality, or you might get it later, man. You know? But it's going to be, you're going to get that mentality one way or another. Go ahead, bro.
The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
Right.
But ye were the fewest of all people.
So we was the fewest of all people. That's why the Lord chose us. Go ahead. Jacob started out as one man. All the other nations were established and built. You know, where you had Esau came too. But the Lord chose us because we were feared in all the nations. He been under that Bible spirit, that spirit of unity, that's unified. You know? The Bible said, "Could two walk together unless they be agreed?" Man. I'm not walking with no transgenders or no homosexuals or none of this, man. You know, or you want to love everybody now? We're not with this. It's time for our kids. It's time for our kids to come.
It goes back to that scripture where I was talking about the ministry and his flock that follows him. The ones that teach him not to be slaves. It's just like Bible. You have to be focused and do it. It's just like Biden. I mean, who, like the brother was saying, who could vote for him if he's for transgender? If he's for, we know that goes against the law of the Most High. You know, Most High doesn't accept that period. You know, and he's for it. He's pushing it. So how can you be with it?
Oh, I'm mistaken. Two walk together, so they get agreed.
Amos 3 and 2, 3 and 3.
You bring it out real quick.
This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Get this word that Yahushua has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey?
Right, man. So can two walk together unless they be agreed, man? You know, go ahead.
Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey?
And that goes into the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father not walking with you unless you agree with him, man. This is what this going into, but then it goes into, then once we learn that mind frame, we learn basically, matter of fact, in 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, Paul said the same thing, man.
Will a young lion cry out of his den if he hadn't taken nothing?
Right. Go ahead. So it's going to different examples, man. Yeah.
Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth with no gin is for him?
Right, man.
Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all?
Come.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people be not afraid?
Right.
Shall there be evil in the city and Yahushua have not done it?
Should there be evil in the city and the Lord haven't done it, man? Right. So the Lord's controlling all this, man. Go ahead.
Surely Yahushua will do nothing, but he revealing his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So the Lord revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, man. So we understand the secrets. We understand his mysteries, man. Because he revealed his secrets in his secrets unto his servants, man. He's not revealing his secrets unto everybody else, man. So he's going to reveal his secrets unto those men that truly serve him, man. You know, that's who he revealing his secrets unto. That's why that guy, he don't got the secrets, man. He want to walk in his love everybody philosophy, man. Yeah, I bet he living good, though, man. You know? Go ahead, bro.
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach,
Right.
that ye all speak the same thing,
That you all speak the same thing.
and that there be no divisions among you,
Come.
but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
And in the same man and in the same judgment. But where we learn that same man, that same judgment from? How about you to have a shot, man?
Pick up at Daniel 7.
Yeah,
I
keep going.
read Daniel 7 and 11, and then took down to after holding it 24, 25, we go back into the law.
You go back to that. What you think you change times and law?
This is Daniel 7. You want to do 11 again, or you want to jump
Yeah, go ahead. That should make you change.
I mean,
You go to the point where it should wear out the saints of the Most High.
I'm going to start at 23. This is Daniel 7, 23. It said, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces.
Revelation 12.
Go back to that Roman Empire.
And then, and the 10 horn out of his kingdom. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise.
And that's the same 10 kings that John saw in Revelation as well. And I'm going to get the precept right quick. In Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon the heads the name of and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And they seeing the same beast, same thing rise up. The Roman Empire was transitioned to the little horn coming up is going into America as well.
And another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall swear out the saints of the Most High.
Right. This is what Esau did. He spake great words. He's still speaking great words, trying to unify everybody, like we've been saying. And the Lord set everybody apart. He set all the nations apart. He never meant for us to be together. And that's a part of those great words that he spoke.
But going back into in the Greeks, when King Antiochus wrote that we should all become one people.
Right.
But we just read it, the Lord said we should be separate from the people. He said when Deuteronomy 32, when he separated the nations. You can set your phone up just in case your phone goes dead.
What is it?
10%. Go ahead. We're gonna go to 5 first. Yeah. We'll do about 10 more. Probably got about 10 more.
And divide, and think to change times and laws. And
We
they
just read about it in the book of Maccabees, how he thought to change times and laws. You know, and there's a lot of our people consider to their religion, man, to the point that we forgot our laws, man.
Right.
You know, and it's still to this day. Our people don't know nothing about the Passover, you know.
I'm keeping the Sabbath wholeheartedly.
Right, or the Feast of Dedication. You know, our people don't know nothing about this, man. The Feast of Booths, the Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead, bro.
And they shall be given into his hands until a time and the dividing of a time of time.
Right.
Time, and about it a time, which is that 350 years.
But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion.
Right, the judgment shall sit, and it's sitting now. And we slowly take away his dominion and speaking it into existence. Right now, we spiritually fighting the battle until it comes a physical battle.
Because part of their dominion being taken away, part of is how Esau ruled, man. The elite rule is the secrecy. They in secrecy who they are, you know, in they different you know, how they operate, man, which they being exposed now.
Right.
Yeah.
And they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end.
Right.
Right.
And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom,
Right, so we're gonna rule over the nations. We're gonna rule over the nations and the kingdom. The nations gonna be given to us as an inheritance. So we're gonna rule over this whole earth under Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Hold it, I get that Revelation 2.
Let me finish this verse out. And all dominions shall serve and obey him.
So all dominions gonna serve and obey him. Yeah, go ahead.
Hitherto is the end of the matter, and he did my presentation much troubles me, and my countenance changed in me, and I kept my matter in my heart.
Right, so Daniel kept the matter in his heart. He ain't understand it, man.
He kept thinking about it.
Right, so you get into Daniel 12, it's gonna tell him, man. The angel gonna finally tell him, because he gonna see more visions. And then the angel gonna go and finally tell him, because Daniel saw when Antiochus was born, he saw all that, man. We saw when Antiochus and Ptolemy, the Seleucid land and Ptolemy land was warring against each other from Daniel 8 all the way to Daniel 11. Then when they get to Daniel 12, then the angel like tell them, look, this stuff gonna happen. A lot of this stuff gonna be, in the end you're gonna understand the rest of that vision that you saw about the little horn and all that. Go ahead, bro. You got it, bro.
This is Revelation chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand.
Right, and that bottomless pit is going back into Europe because they don't produce enough natural resources to sustain their land. They got to have other countries to get their natural resources from. Like, for example, I think Russia, especially at the time too, but I think Russia was like one of the, it had the largest export of natural gas. And then, some other countries that had export too, but, basically Europe can be self-sustained with their natural resources.
And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
That's going into Esau. And that 1,000 years is going into that 1,000-year period that the brother was bringing up earlier when Israel ruled those lands over there, ruled that country, ruled Europe, basically. So after the 1,000 years, Esau was taken out of power. And this going into also in Genesis where their yoke is on his neck.
Luke 21 and 24 real quick.
This is a part of that wound too. That wound that when Rome was taken down. I don't know if it's
All right, this is Luke 21, 24. It said, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. They shall be led away captive into all nations.
right.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down under the Gentiles.
Right.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right. So a lot of people, the Israelites, we was brought down, destroyed back in 70 AD. And we were scattered all across the four corners of the earth until we were taken into captivity into these different lands, different nations, mainly America. And we were made to serve, slavery into the times of the Gentiles, meaning the time their rulership was up. This going into that, when the Gentiles should rule for a little season, which is going to be coming up in Revelation.
That's it on that. But like your brother was saying, Yahushua was prophesied of when Jerusalem gonna get taken down, get destroyed. They finally destroyed the temple from 68 AD all the way up into 72 AD, man. Under Titus and Domitian, and that goes into Daniel also, man. I think that's Daniel the 9th chapter, man.
Verse 2, Revelation 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed in a little season.
Right, so the 1,000 years being fulfilled, where it's been fulfilled. And Esau came back in the time of the Renaissance period, when they came back mainly under the Borgia family. They came back, they started whitewashing everything. That was their first priority, to whitewash all the paintings and all the pictures of the Israelites. you know, the Israelite prophets and different things, different images, so they can bring back and rewrite history basically. But this all happened during the time of the Renaissance, because the word Renaissance means rebirth. And then it said, and after that, they should be released for a little season. You know, that's the Renaissance all the way up to what you see today.
Let me get this real quick. And I stood upon the saying, Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the saying of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemous.
Right.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet was as the feet of a bear.
Right, and that leopard is going back into the time of the Greeks, on Alexander the Greek, the same thing that Daniel saw.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which going into Great Britain, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Right, so these kingdoms that rule, ultimately, it's the spirit,
Come, yeah.
the spiritual demon Satan giving them their power. How about you,
And I saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death.
Going into Rome, and it failed.
Right, because after we was led captive into all nations from 68 AD to 72 AD, and the main general at the time, you had Domitian and Titus, which they was the 2 sons of Vespasian, who was the Caesar at the time. But the number 1 general who helped take us down was a Jake. He was an Israelite working for the Romans. 201. What you looking for? This capital, but we don't know what address. You don't know what building you looking for. But this probably what you looking for, the King Edwards Hotel. Or we'll call them in, man. Stop. Hey, we don't start ignoring people, bro. Real, they ask us for direct. We don't know. Shit, fine. Shit. It's Revelations 15:3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
Right, that deadly wound was healed during the time of which is America. Because America is the rebirth of the ancient Roman Empire. And they got all the symbolism, they got all the customs, and all the traits of ancient Rome.
And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him?"
Which the beast go back into NATO and the EU. Which is, NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The EU is the European Union.
Basically slang for the Edomite Union. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months.
Right. They're going to that 350 years. They was able to take us, have us in that complete subjection, and the truth that wasn't fruitful at the time.
So this showing you how his wound was healed, and this showing you how this John seeing the same thing that Daniel saw as the little horn, man, speaking great things. Watch what verse 6 say. And he opened his mouth and blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
Right, his name. Now we don't know about Yahweh. We call him all types of false names. His image. The laws, statutes, and commandments. It said the temple, which represent the people, the Israelites, and them that worship, them in heaven, the angels. Now they got them looking like little white man, little white babies with wings.
They ain't got no beards on their faces, they got long hair.
Right.
You can tell Biden was a part of all that, man. That's what Biden all about, man. What he was telling that little girl, boy, I forgot, man. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations.
Right, so they was able to rule over all the nations and over the saints, because they made war with them and prevailed against them. So they
He got power over all kindreds, tongues, and nations.
the so-called white man, he saw. Rulership of the United States.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Right.
And this goes into, go ahead.
I was just saying, mainly going into our people,
Right.
worshiping them, keeping the customs of America.
Come.
2/3.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints.
Right. So this is a judgment for Esau.
You got it, bro.
He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. So Esau got to go into captivity, and he got to be destroyed with the sword. Just like he destroyed, and that was his blessing. That's about our sword shall thou live.
Go to verse 2 again. Because see why we read this going right into Revelations 20, man, going into Daniel 7, man. So it said when it says when one of his hairs was wounded to death, because we was always fighting in Rome army, man. So it got to the point like 193 AD, you had Septimius Severus. He started to rebel against the Roman Empire and to take it down. Then you had something called the Severus Empire, which his sons came after him and ruled. And we was taking Rome down piece by piece until 323 AD under Constantine the Great. We finally took Rome down, man. And that's when his deadly wound was wounded to death. And for 1,000 years we reigned, and even though we reigned, Constantine was a sun worshiper, man. So our people still wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? You still had the elect amongst them, but you still had our people who were still mixing pagan customs with our customs. That's how you got Easter in the Bible and all that, man. But we ruled Europe for 1,000 years, man. So this is when he was shut up, man, for 1,000 years. Then he couldn't deceive the nations no more, man. Go ahead,
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them.
Read the verse again before that.
And verse 3, and cast him into the bottom of this pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, until 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosened a little season. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls.
So he say he saw thrones, and judgment was given unto them. He saw thrones, and they were set up, and judgment was given into them. What did Daniel saw? He saw the throne. He beheld the thrones until they was cast down. You got it on.
And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of Yahweh.
Right, so those that will be headed, meaning the elect, the ones that's going to have to be ordered for this truth sake. Whether it be not taking the vaccination, whether it be not taking the chip, or whether it be some other cause, they didn't conform to the ways of this world and ways of Esau. Any tactic that he came with.
Then it said in the book of the Greek, when he wrote this, that all that consent to the king's commandments should die.
Right, that did not consent to the king's commandments.
Right, so this is what's coming all over again, man.
Right.
This is what you're supposed to be preparing your minds for, man. But Biden really y'all right in for the kill, man.
And which I not worship the beast, neither his image.
Because what's his image, man? All these different legislations being passed now, man. All these laws he passing. This is the image of the beast, man. Who gonna worship his image? Which the true way of you showing you worshiping his image is you gonna have to take that mark, man. You gonna have to be facing that mark. I see some Esau realize he was like, Jacob's a planner. He can act like he worshiping the image, but he got a whole different mind frame. So we're gonna bypass all that, nigga. You gonna have to take this chip. We gonna know who really worships the beast in his image now. You gonna have to take this chip. I'm gonna implement this chip in you, dog. So we can I see with that chip, with that technology right there, he gonna be able to see what you're thinking, man.
Neither have received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years.
This 1,000 year period is different from the 1,000 years that Esau was going to be shut up. This 1,000 years, this is when they're gonna be in slavery under us for the next 1,000 years. And then right after that 1,000 year period, Esau gonna be taken out of the way. He's gonna be destroyed off the face of the earth.
But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished.
Right, and the rest of the dead live not again, meaning the other nations. They didn't get their land and get a little power back until after the 1,000 years was up.
This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power.
Right. This gonna be their first time. This gonna be the first time ever that they ever get their power back.
But they shall be priests of Yahweh and of Yahushua, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Right, the elect.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosened out of his prison.
Now this time, this is the difference of this that first 1,000 years that came up. Meaning when Esau came back in the rulership in the Renaissance period.
And you can look it up. It's something called the 1,000-year rulership of Constantine, of Constantinople. Just Google that and watch what pop up. You got Constantinople. Yeah, Constantinople. That was going to the Constantine, the whole Constantinople, the empire. But you had the Moors also. The Moors, they was Islam. It was still a lot of war, because still had the elects amongst Islands, so our people still, even though they were even during that time, Mike is doing what Constantine did during that time. Constantine put out a lot of orders. He said executive orders against our people, against the Israelites. I mean, it was a lot, starting in like 320 something AD, and then Biden putting out all these executive orders. So it's all, follow that same order. And I'm gonna say this: if you look Constantine up, that Constantine was just a title, right? Because Constantine's father, but then you had Constantine the Great. He was responsible in 323 AD. They was they helped take the Roman Empire down. Then after that, you had something called the Four Tetrarchs, where they split the power amongst four Israelites, four Judites. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they were four dark-skinned men, I forget their names. They split the power amongst each other. That's why we call the Four Tetrarchs. It was Constantine the Great and four other guys. You look, it's actually a dark-skinned statue. They got on the Four Tetrarchs. So Constantine was just so you can look up Constantine, you'll see Constantine in 323, then you'll go later in here, and you'll see Constantine again. Like, he couldn't live that long. Constantine was just a title. It was Constantine the Great who we talking about. And we said them different decrees out. We had the Council of Nicaea. And when the 1,000 years were expired, if I could say Constantine the Great, he was raised up as a sun worshiper. He was raised up from when we was converted over into all the religions of the Greco-Roman Empire, man. But he called himself converted to the truth, man. But he still some of that stuff he learned, he was mixing it in with the truth. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. So this when that deadly wound was healed, man. When that 1,000 years was fulfilled, he was released from his prison, man, during the Renaissance period. That's what the word Renaissance means, the rebirth, man. So the rebirth of the Roman Empire, man. His deadly wound was beginning to be healed. You got it, man. Go ahead, man. Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Who was Gog and Magog? You got it, bro. Gog and Magog is Russia, man. So this is who's being gathered up for this last battle right now. That's why Russia already, with Biden win, they know it's on, man. Moving ships and moving artillery. Right. Russia already know. Biden he gonna speed up the plans of the elites, man. See, Trump was playing around, man. Notice how Trump might was speaking war, but Trump was bringing the troops home. Ain't been no war since Trump started. You know, he knocked out our red general. You know what I'm saying? Then that's all he did, though. But as far as the Syria war, all the different wars, Trump, he ain't heard nothing, you know. That stuff died down. Even Russell was bringing troops back how Trump killed it down. But as soon as Biden and Kamala Harris won, they won. Russell started putting troops back in Syria because Kamala and Biden were already saying, shit, we finna crank that right back up, man.
Right.
And in one of the debates, when Trump and Biden mentioned or said, you know, if he wins, he gonna deal with Russia. So,
And Biden already said Russia is America's #1 enemy, America's #1 threat.
And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about the beloved city. And fire came down from the house by Shimon Shai out of heaven and devoured them. And the
Because
devil,
we the main focus, man. The camp of the beloved city. We are people before we are place, man. So it's talking about the Israelites, man. Because we the ones who they want. That's going into the time of Jacob's trouble right there, man. So that fire gonna come down from out of heaven and devour them, man. The thermonuclear missiles, and the Lord gonna come back with his chariots like a whirlwind, man.
and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be
Go ahead.
tormented day and night forever and ever.
Ain't that the day where it said the beast body was given into the flame?
Gun. It was in 7. It said ready. Gun. It said, read it again, Salaki.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone,
And who was the devil that deceived us? Esau.
where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Right? Mainly going into America, because America's going to be the lake of fire. America is ran by Esau. So the lake of fire is going to be America.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yahweh Shimon Shai, and the books were open.
Right, the book being open right now.
And another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
Right, death and hell. Who else is considered as death and hell? Esau, which is ran by America. So we're going to be delivered up out of this place.
And they would judge every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
Right, the second death, which is the second destruction. So we're gonna be delivered up out of this place, America. It's gonna be given to the flame, like the brother said in Daniel. The body of the beast was given into the flames.
It's going to the east side.
Come,
And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
right. So all the Israelites that's not considered a part of the elect is gonna be destroyed as well, along with Esau, along with his country.
This second Ezra chapter 4. We can end it right there if y'all want to. We can end it right. Right, man. So, let's get First Thessalonians 5.
First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. Of the times and the seasons, brethren, who have no need that I write unto you.
Right, so the time and the seasons. And this to the brethren, man. This to our people who know the truth. You know, go ahead.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
So the day of the Lord gonna come as a thief in the night to the majority of our people because they teach us not warning them of what's to come, man. You know, go ahead.
But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
That's the guy that was up here. So he say when they should say peace and safety, sudden destruction should come upon them. This all biting them hollering about that, man. Everything finna be all right now, man. Peace and safety, man. When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction should come upon them, man. It's gonna be peace, man. You know, it's gonna be great. We're gonna get the vaccination out. We're gonna get justice. America's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be good again. Man. But this was sudden destruction gonna come, man.
As prevail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
They should not escape, man. A lot of our people falling right for this whole peaceful, unified spirit, man. Ain't no peace, ain't no safety coming for the so-called Negro, Hispanics, and Latinos, man. Go ahead. You, the true Israelites of the Bible. Go ahead, bro.
But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief.
So the brother that know the truth, you not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief, man. Go ahead.
Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day.
Right.
We are not of the night nor of darkness.
Right, man. So this word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. Go ahead.
Therefore, let us not sleep as do others,
So we not sleeping as do others, man.
but let us watch and be sober.
And we just gotta watch and be sober, man. And like Luke 12 say, whether they come in the first watch or the second watch or the third watch, we gotta keep our lights burning. Go ahead.
But they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night.
Come.
But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation.
Hope of salvation, man. That's what we hoping for, man. We hoping for the salvation, man. We not hoping for this place to keep going, man. You know, because we know what America is all about, man. You know, go ahead.
How about Shemi Awashai have not appointed us to wrath,
There they go, Operation Warp Speed.
but to obtain salvation for our Lord Yahweh Mashiach.
Right, man. So this is what we hoping for, the salvation, man. The end of our faith, which is the saving of our souls, man. Go ahead.
Who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we shall live together with him.
Whether we wake or sleep, man. You know, whether some die in the truth, you know, we be here when he comes, man. We all gonna be with him. Go ahead.
Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another.
So this is what we doing, man. We comforting ourselves together and edifying one another. We building. It's all about building the brothers and sisters up, man, for the times to come.
Even as also ye do.
Right.
And we beseech you, brethren, to know them that which labor among you and are over you in the Lord and among you.
Right.
And to,
right. Go ahead.
and to esteem
So
them.
it's an order, man. So Paul said we beseech you, brother, you know, that you basically go read it again.
And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord
Right.
and among you.
Your elders, go ahead.
And to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves.
Right, man. They Operation Warp Speed, go ahead.
Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men.
Right.
See that none render evil for evil unto any man,
Right.
but ever
We
follow.
ain't teaching you render evil for evil to any man. We just let you need to know who your enemy is, man. You know? We basically feed you the knowledge of salvation, man. We warning you, man. You know, because you can't take Esau down cornerly, man. You gonna have to receive powers to take this guy down, man. This guy got superpowers on the left hand side, man. Which is his technology. Right. He don't even have to show up man to man with you, man. He can just, because see the times we coming into, man. Drone, it's gonna be like once they implement all this stuff, you're gonna have drones flying everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have robotics. It's gonna be a virtual. This is that they preparing people mind for, man. This virtual, Esau's virtual reality, man.
They already showing out their robots.
Right, talking about the new robots gonna be the way not to spread the virus, man. So this is what Esau trying to create, man. You know, he feel like he control robots, he can't control them, man. You know, so this is what that chip is all about. Him controlling you, man. He can control you from the inside out. You know, Because indoctrinations and enchantments only last so long, go so far. You're being exposed, man. Go ahead, bro.
See that none render evil for evil unto any man.
That's what I'm telling you. That's the vaxes in there, some shit. That's why I said that's Operation Warp Speed. Everybody got that black
false flag phone.
But never follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men.
Follow that which is good. You know, this place ain't good. Huh? They was riding it on. Nah, they were riding that big old white Suburban.
Yeah, those are just
Oh, okay. Yeah.
those are deluxe cab. That's on the side.
Rejoice evermore.
Hey, get ready, hey man. It's going down. Biden said what? Biden said the first 100 days he expect to vaccinate 100 million people, man. So that's 1 million people a day, man.
And look at this. Look at this. On top of that, we see the end, which is the vaccination, but also too, what did Yahweh say? They're gonna be marriage and giving into marriage. We see this going on too, because these people getting out for a win.
Yeah, the days of Noah, man.
Right.
Which ain't nothing wrong with getting married, man, but you know, he said it's gonna be after days of Noah. They were married and giving into marriage until the day Noah entered their ark, man.
Right.
So it's gonna be going down the same way, man.
Pray evermore. I mean, it's like rejoice evermore. Pray without ceasing. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God and Hamashiach Yahweh concerning you.
Right.
Quench not the spirit.
Quench not the spirit, man. So don't quench the spirit, man. You got this word. I let this word give free course. Go ahead. Don't quench the spirit. Go ahead.
Despise not prophesying.
Despise not prophesying. You know, because the testimony of who the word eagerly calls Jesus Christ is the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy.
Prove all things.
Prove all things, man. So we do, man. That's why we go into the scriptures, man. That's why when Esau was talking, which he could have been Jake, we had to go to the scriptures to prove all things, man. You know, America's the land of confusion, man.
Hold fast that which is good.
Hold fast that which is good, and this is what we know is good, man. These holy words in this book, go ahead.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Right. Abstain from all appearance of evil.
And the very good and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray God your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless to the coming of our Lord Yahweh.
All right, man. Hey, it's going down these first 100 days, man. So y'all get ready, man. You know, get ready, man. You know, get ready, man. Y'all want to fight, you got fight. Now get ready, man. Right. Get ready, man. You know, fight got a plan, man. Biden said they gonna move heaven. Google it, man. Biden said they gonna move heaven and earth, man, to get these vaccinations out here, man. What the hell he mean, man? But it is what it is, man. Let's finish the chapter, bro.
Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. Brethren, pray for us.
Get that Revelation 1 and 3 where it says, blessed is he that readeth and doeth all these. You don't end it with it. Start at 1. Go ahead,
Greet all the brethren with a holy kiss.
Right.
I charge you by the Lord that this epistle be read unto all the holy brethren. The grace of our Lord, Yahweh Mashiach, amen. The first epistle unto the Thessalonians was written from Egypt.
It's going down. That's how we go. Go ahead, Hey, excuse me, bro.
All right, this is Revelation 3 and 1. And unto the angel of the church in Sardis write, these things said he that have the 7 spirits of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
That's Revelation 1 and 1.
1 and 1 or 3? I thought you said
1
3
and 1.
Okay.
Verse 3, I'm on it. Esau moving right up under your nose, man. You know, just gotta have your eyes open, man. A lot of our people's eyes wide shut. Revelation 1:1. You gotta put on them shades so you can see, man. You gotta put on the glasses, man. You gotta put. Oh, it's probably about 10 of them all together. No, all together. All together with it.
Nah, more than 10.
It's 10 in one truck, man.
I'm talking about the fire got out the first one.
Man, hell nah, man. It's not 30 of them at least, man. Those 10 got out of that one truck right there. Them the big guys right there. That's the commander right there with the black case mark in the front.
Like this Revelation.
It's at least 30 of them. Like, you talking about 10.
I counted 5 going in, and then I counted another 3 or 4 behind them. I didn't see that before.
It's at least 25 to 30. What we're looking at is Esau, man, getting out of his military uniform, man. All of them got black cases, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, probably Operation Warp Speed, man. Get ready, man. Get ready. Biden say he gonna move heaven and earth, man. His first 100 days, man. So you get ready, man. Whatever he mean by that, man.
Like this Revelation 1:1. It said the revelation of Yahushua, which Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John.
These was what shortly come to pass.
Who bear record of the word of Yahweh.
They in Operation Warp Speed. The Lord gonna be in Operation Warp Speed, man. So cut the days short for the elect's sake. Go ahead.
And the testimony of Yahushua and all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth and that heareth the word of his prophet. Blessed is he that readeth and they that hear the words of his prophecy.
Right, blessed is he that read and hear the words of these prophecies.
And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
Right, and keep those things written therein, for the time is at hand, man. Stop right there.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Because the time is at hand. So it's only gonna go down here from here, man. Got Biden and Trump said. He said you're gonna lose your religious freedom, you're gonna lose your Second Amendment rights, and it's all this coming down here and that. But oh, that's another thing Biden passed. What did it say? All these different messages going out on YouTube and Twitter. This what do you say? What do you say is this corrupting the minds of the people. We gotta shut it down, man. So that's another thing coming too, man. The famine of the word coming, man. The Bible will bring it all, man.
I did read that they would be ready to shut down the services now.
Right. They use Trump as the start of it. When he so excited to ride at Capitol Hill, they like, they use now that for to come against us.
Which Trump told the truth on a lot of things.
Yeah, of course.
Now they got to come up and cover it up. So it's all going to be like, They both fit it together. So it's like good cop, bad cop. Trump plays, his betrayal is the bad cop, and Biden's supposed to be the good cop. So it's just a who you in. It's just a something you in. So you got to be mindful of that. But Biden's true character is gonna come out real soon, and everybody's gonna see it. It's coming.
You go look at that video Biden had in 2004, with him and the judge, when he said, judge, you will rule on. He says it's already being talked about, and people gonna have to take the microscopic implemented in their scheme.
Right.
He told the judge, mark my words, you will have to rule on this one day, man. Go look at it, man. It's talking about the chip, man. And now the time is here, man. And Biden is the president, man.
Right.
And another thing Biden said was, he get more stuff passed in legislation than any other body in Congress and Senate. Why? He been in there the longest, man.
Right.
He they guy, man.
And now he got both parties, House and the Senate.
Right.
You know, with the tiebreaker.
So these are times we in, man. You know, Biden could be that Tiberius coming back, man. You know, look up Tiberius, and then look up Biden. Look at all the stuff Biden about. Look up Tiberius, the Caesar at the time, during the time of our Lord and Savior Yahushua, man.
Right.
You know, they already portrayed Trump as the role as Julius Caesar, man, who was trying to go against the Senate and ended up getting killed for it. You know, that's what Julius Caesar's role was. He was going to war without going to the Senate. They eventually killed him for it, man.
Trump, that character killed Trump, you know.
They had Trump playing Julius Caesar in one of them plays, man. You know, so one of them Broad Street plays or something. They had Trump as playing Caesar, he ended up getting killed, man. So, you know, this is who it is, man. Then the whole Operation Warp Speed, when you look it up, they operate off the Tiberius platform, man. So these people is well in the knowing of reincarnation and all that, man. Because you had General Patton, or was it General MacArthur? I think it was General Patton, man, at the time of World War I. I think he's not World War II. He said he was a reincarnation of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great. He was, I used to be on that field. He was, I used to be in that battlefield. You know, he was saying it, man. He used to be telling it being under him. General Patton, man, or General MacArthur, one of them. Be saying he was Alexander the Great in the reincarnation. So these guys know about reincarnation. You know, so and then like we said, you look up Operation Warp Speed, they operate off the Tiberius platform. You look up Tiberius, he was the Caesar of the time of Yahushua. He was the one who gave the orders for the crucifying. Yahushua gave Pilate the orders to crucify him. So all these men is back, man. Then Tiberius, he was a freak just like Biden, man. He had sex with men, women, children. You know, it didn't matter to him, man. So, and this is what Biden is all about. Everybody in his cabinet coming out. They the first transgender, the first gay this, the first gay that, man. So, you know. Hey,
We all know
this,
we had first lesbian and transgender president, first lady.
right, man. So, hey, it is what it is, man. So, hey, so with that, man, Lord willing, brothers and sisters edified. Until next time, man. First and foremost, we'll give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to apostles and elders that rule well. Peace, salutation, and love to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, Purim Yahshua. Like the scriptures say, man, blessed is he that read it and do it all the things written in the book, man. The time is at hand.